Alright, so in this part of the tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to create a basic advertisement. For this one, I picked Pringles. I absolutely love Pringles. They're fun. I think that the texturing of an object, a food object especially, something we can all get into. Everybody loves food. So what I've done here is I've created a can of potato chips. Two models if you count the table. Go into EV mode and you can see it doesn't look great, but I didn't design this for EV, I designed it for cycles. And there's tri-lighting, different shading, some UV mapping, because it's all one object, but you can change the colors like we did in the previous tutorial for the beer barrel on the scene. And I went ahead and rendered a quick little 50 sample in cycles, and you can see, and if I had done like a few thousand samples, you could zoom in a little bit more. But I've kind of cracked the chips here, created some crumbs, a little noise texture with the plate. The Pringles are, I would say, pretty accurate to what they should be. The table, pretty simple, just threw a texture in there. We'll go over that because what that's going to teach you is the differences between UV mapping, generating, and a few other options to just tell Blender to kind of make sense of a texture so you can keep it real simple. But the chips with a little bit of the extra shadowing and texturing look pretty real. You can do more to clean this up, and like I said, it's only 50 samples on cycles. So as you would go around, you can see that I've got some different lighting going on here. I'll show you how to do all that, how to obviously model the can, and how to get these chips to effectively lay perfectly like they are and kind of line up. Because as you would expect, whenever there's something on the table, there's going to be some crumbs. Teach you how to make that, how to make them kind of variable, and the big goal is to make it look as realistic as possible. And then once you get there, you can add in what you would do. You can add to it, and I encourage you to add your own scene past this and start creating your own models, because whenever you do a tutorial, immediately after that you should put your skills to the test and create something different with what you learned. And you kind of go back and forth in the tutorial and figure out what's best, and you'll understand camera angles, views, zooming, setting up the render engine a little bit better every time. You want to learn something every time, and show you that you can go into the UV editor with the different models selected, and then select just faces and go back to our 256 palette. And let's just say we were going to put this in face mode and select every other one of these faces. And then what you can do is do your smart UV project here, go in, tap A in this area and hit M to merge it center, and then tap G. You can see it's going to change colors as it goes around. Now it's not useful over our label, but at the same time you can see what you do. It gives you a lot of options, and that way you can make anything that you want, because a lot more people are going to be artistic. Some people are going to be more geared towards the mechanics of actually modeling and may not be very artistic, but taking direction from somebody else. And so it's going to be really important that you understand from the ground up how you want to create the model that you're looking for, and then bring it to a little bit more of a lifelike realism. And like I said, we're going to go over the geometry nodes, which are super important to learn, because when you select a model, you can turn it into points, you can turn it into a lot of things, and you can do anything you want. And then, like you will learn, you can add different amounts of the crumbs and kind of like increase this or decrease it the way you want. And then when you're in the layout, the basic lay out the 3D viewport, just the 3D viewport, and then you go back to your tools, you'll still have these values, and you can, put it wherever you want it. Just want to add, say, 2 or 3 crumbs, put it to a value that achieves that. And then when you go to actually do your render, you can see you've only got a few crumbs there. And so that's what this one's going to be about. We're going to make an advertisement, and we're going to add to it as we go along, and then you can share your results at the end. Or you can just move on to the next tutorial and take as many of them as you can. And just a little hint, when you're learning geometry nodes, there are a ton. So if I was going to go into this chip and add one, and there's just a truckload of different things, attributes, mesh, materials, texture abilities, utilities, which are going to be mapping different ranges and random values and math and adding, subtracting different values. Going to be able to change, modify, and create just about anything you can think of. And so you want to learn them consecutively, not necessarily go through the list and learn each one, because that's not realistic. What I'm going to do in this course is I'm going to teach you the different ones you're going to need. Like, for example, you go in and you want to distribute points on faces, and you can see what happens there. It literally turns into points. Then you can spacebar and type in join, or you can go up here to add, go to geometry, and click there, and you see join geometries there, and you see it's kind of light up. This is going to allow you, because we just turned our potato chip into points that don't necessarily exist just yet, we've got to tell Blender what to do with those, because that's just data. It's just sitting there, it doesn't mean anything. Our original geometry, which is the potato chip, is here. It is no longer being outputted. Only the points on faces which don't exist and we have to modify exist now. You would take this and plug it in your geometry, and now you've got something on the actual chip, right? So you could do something with that. Maybe you've put cheese on there. Who knows what you want to do with it. Let's just load it up. Let's put 700 on there. Can't necessarily see them too well there. Switch back to solid mode. Yeah, so if you had like a dip, and then what you can do, and this is all going to be in the next video, which is technically the first one, but I like an overview so you know what you're going to see. It's going to teach you how to weight paint and vertex group so that these things end up where you want them and they don't end up in some other place, and giving you all the control to modify and create anything that you want. And so that's going to be the focus here. It's going to be a little bit of a longer portion of the tutorial, but you're going to probably get the most out of it once you've gotten through the first one that I did, which is the beer barrel, and that's pretty basic. Then the interface, I'm teaching you the interface and advancing you as it goes along. So stick with it, and you're going to learn a ton and be able to model what you want, modify it in the way you want, and have something that's actually sellable, something you'd be proud to post online. And then some employer can pick you up and you can produce for them. Or you can create your own business, do what you want. And if you're just doing this for fun, then hoorah, have fun with that too. All right. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.